don't gotta do it if you don't want to. You don't gotta do it if you don't want to. It's just a suggestion.
So while we're on the subject of cars, and this will be a good jump into something new. Here, have you? I'm gonna show you a brief video here, and
I would love to see it.
Let's see here. All right, so here we have Cassandra Peterson, who is better known as Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Okay.
She is doing this right here.
I'm donating it to NPR.
So hey, sorry guys, we had to cut the audio out of this clip because YouTube wouldn't let us have the music snippet that was in the Elvira clip. So this is what it sounds like with me talking over the music that I can't tell you was playing.
Does she have a chainsaw in her hand?
She does.
Well,
she's Elvira.
Oh, I thought you was gonna cut the.
So did I at first when I first saw that.
That was somewhat anticlimactic.
Yeah, I can tell you. But the one I want to ask you is, so I'm seeing a number of these videos of now that Elon is in Trump's camp. I see a lot of these videos of people, giving up their Teslas, saying they can't support Elon Musk anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's how I feel about it too. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I haven't seen that before. I haven't heard that was happening. Yeah. I don't think it's as big of a thing. I don't think it's gonna trend.
Here's the thing: it's not a big thing because who, except for somebody who's as wealthy as Elvira, can give away their $80,000 automobile?
So you enjoyed the vehicle you had. You found that it was more beneficial to drive that vehicle than others. So now you're going to put yourself in a worse position because of a position that you hold or a disagreement that you have with the philosophy of the current administration. Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily put Elon in Trump's camp, so to speak. I think Elon's aligning himself with the ideas that are currently held by that administration. And if those ideas were held and used and those philosophies rang true with another administration or a different leadership, I think he wouldn't be against attaching himself or trying to participate in those ideas. And I say ideas because people change their ideas all the time. I don't think the same thing I did 15 years ago. I don't think the same thing I did 25 years ago.
Don't get into politics.
There's plenty of people that change their mind and then they get rung up on it, right? Yeah. Oh, wait a second. You said back 30 years ago when we had far less information and science and data that, so are you telling me we have more information now?
Yeah.
Are you telling me that it's a better decision now to think this idea currently? Yeah. Oh, well, then what's wrong with me changing my mind?
So what gets me is that exact statement is the actual problem, because we hold on to not allowing you to change your mind so that we can use the fact that you changed your mind against you. It's a paradox. And I find this...
It's not helpful.
No, it's not. And I find it goes back to your concrete poll. It's these knee-jerk reactions. So I'm afraid to approach people who act like this, and it's not just the liberals. My Facebook page changes based on who's president. So I spent the last 4 years getting all the anti-Biden Harris, ultra right-wing conservative nut job memes, and now that Trump's in charge, I'm getting all of the crazy liberal conspiracy theory, racist memes, and it goes back and forth.
I like to get all of it. And I want to see everything.
But the thing is, I have friends on both sides, and I'm just stuck in the middle. But when people are content with what they have, they don't bitch and complain. So all of the anti-liberal memes go away when Trump's president, and all of the anti Trump memes go away when Biden was president. But the thing is, the reason I bring this up is to me, it's we don't realize that we are all Americans and that we are so much alike that it's hilarious, because that's the example I want to give, that when we're not happy, we complain. And I don't like the way that this administration is going, or this thing over here. So I'm going to complain about it as hard as I can. I'm going to get as little information as possible, turn it into a meme, so that I can so that I can express my anger.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't ever present their anger to anybody but the people who believe like they do. So it's like
They're in an echo chamber.
yes, it's like it's a form of absolution at the time, and I think that's why it expands so much. So like I don't care about your political views. So if we get along on any other layer, we can be friends. And so I have some real ultra massive mega super left-wing friends, like hardcore. And I've also got some total MAGA hat, like legitimate MAGA hat wearing, right-wing, just, the whole Jan 6 conspiracy people crowd. But they're all people I know.
Sure.
And the only thing, and as long as I just stay out of it, it doesn't affect my relationship with them.
Do you have good connections?
Yeah.
Are they polite and well-mannered? Do you enjoy spending time with them? Do they enjoy spending time with you? Do they challenge you?
Yeah.
Can you challenge them? Is it a give and take? Is it reciprocal?
Yes. And I can challenge, and all those things are true except for challenging them with politics, because
Sure. Well, we all have limits, right?
yeah. But the thing that strikes me is that we don't see how similar we are. We try so hard to exasperate the differences. Like nowadays, if you're a liberal from a conservative standpoint, you have your head in the ground and you have no idea what's going on. Society is crumbling around you. If you are an ultra conservative and from a liberal standpoint, you're a racist. You're only allowed to be white and over 40, and so these, but the thing is, all of the stuff that matters, we talked about this recently, all the stuff that matters, we all want what's best for the country. We just have a semantics issue about how to achieve that.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't see that anymore. We do not see how similar we are. And I think we've actively stopped trying to find the similarities because we want to hate so bad, because being angry is our favorite default setting.
I don't think everybody wants what's best for the country. I don't think that's all people. I don't think all people fall into that boat. I think most people are in the camp where they want what's best for them, and they're hoping that what is best for them is also going to serve the country well, so that if their needs are met, then the country's needs will be met, and they go together. And that's why I want what I want so much. That's why I'm being so loud about this particular interest. For the most part, I would say, I mean, we've lived through, so many presidents, right? And over the course of that time, my life, my personal life, hasn't really truly been affected as much as one might think. Or if you listen to everybody who's getting on their soapbox online telling you how terrible the world is from one administration to the next, doesn't matter who's in office and what party they're in, but there's people out there complaining, and they're saying that the sky is falling, and I get through 4 or 8 years and I'm like, I'm okay. What has affected me more is big yellow poles in front of my gate, right? Local
decisions,
local stuff. Has anybody been to their local town halls? Or the people that are complaining online, have they gone to the school board meetings? Have they signed up for a special task force in their city or their region? Have they written letters to their congressmen or women, or what have you done beyond the social media stuff. If that layer is the only layer of complaint or the only layer of solution that you found, if you think that's helping, I don't think it is.
Yeah. So that brings up an interesting point. And there are things on a macro scale that matter. And I know they matter to some people more than others, but there are things that groups need the federal government to decide on.
Sure.
But I completely agree with you that by and large, I've been around for almost 47 years, and the winds of change through all the presidencies have not really affected me much.
And your life has just been,
yeah. But that's me pushing for better for myself. And so maybe I do agree that it isn't about what's best for the country; it's about what's best for me. And I personally believe that what's best for me should also be what's best for everybody else. You think that's more accurate?
Perhaps, yeah. Yeah, that might be a closer representation of what we're trying to get. But if you are, I think the only place people are allowed to think outside of themselves, right? I think generosity, like if you're compassionate, if you're sympathetic, and if you're empathetic for other groups that aren't connected to you and you want to see them do well, you really can only do that if you have your bucket full. Is your cup full? Do you have everything you need? Do you have all of your needs met? Are you living in abundance? Do you have a surplus? In order for you to even have the possibility of thinking outside of yourself, because if you have too many problems in your life that are going unsolved and they're month to month, if they're paycheck to paycheck, whatever they are, if they exist and they continue to exist and you're striving to solve them, how are you going to see this group of people over here that have been marginalized? Or how can you go, okay, I'm going to make a generous donation to this group over here because I want to support them and I want to see them do as well as I am currently. You have to be able to, raise yourself up to the point where you can think outside of your own life and want to find ways, any way to help people come up to where you are.
So then how do all these groups gather enough people to be so loud? I would argue that the groups that are yelling the loudest, they're the smallest minorities of groups, and they are screaming the loudest. But if they are, like you said, if their cups aren't full, and how are they finding the time to get together and cry out that they're being marginalized?
I think they're well funded.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, there have been recent people that have risen to, into our legislation, without calling out names, that have had what you would consider blue collar jobs, that have decided to cry out, and then they received additional support and until they rose to power. And then now they're in a place where they have all of their needs met and they can go and fight for the needs of others. If you don't have enough money to put food on your table, you're not going out and trying to feed your neighbors, to put it simply.
Unless you are.
Well, those people are a different breed. Those would be the outliers.
Yeah. And I do see myself as a compassionate, caring person. I do speak in the we vernacular a lot, but I would be lying if I did not say that I do want what's best for everyone else, but it's also best for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, well, you're a prime example because you just went through this. You brought somebody
prime example,
out of their turmoil and provided them options. Not all of them they chose to select. You'll get to see what happens.
But I see where you're going though. But yeah, I did. I took somebody into my home who needed a place, who needed to restart their life, who needed to get back on their feet. And I was able to do that because my cup is full.
Correct. If you were struggling to keep the lights on, if you didn't have Wi-Fi at your house, if you had to work 18 hours a day to make ends meet,
Yeah, it might have
you'd
been.
probably be, you might be less likely to do that.
And in the same vein, I took them in, and we're good, close friends, but we're just friends. And the whole swath of her family, and she has a huge family living in this region, none of them could step forward to do that because they didn't have the ability to do so.
And they probably would have if they did. I think it takes an exceptionally wise individual to have their cup full, know they could step in there and help and solve problems. Well, maybe in the short term, but deliberately decide against it because they know their help would not actually aid them in the long term. I mean, we have examples of many examples in our culture with celebrities, and you've got the black sheep of the family, and instead of throwing good money after bad, right? You're trying to invest in their life. You're trying to turn them around. They're the prodigal son, so to speak, and they are rebelling or revolting and just not listening. And okay, you feed them for a day, but they never learned how to fish.
Yeah, I do find it funny, not to wax too politically, but to point out that people complain about things when it suits them. Right now, we talk about the right wing owns the government, and a lot of complaints from liberals about that. But Cassandra Peterson doesn't. She said in that video that she's donating her Elon Sucks car to NPR. But if you're to believe what National Public Radio stands for, she's donating that car to a politically non-biased organization. But she knows it's not correct. So we all do things. We all do things to support our ideology, I think, is the base of that argument.
Sure.
And we don't realize that we're just doing what we're complaining about them doing.
Yes. I mean, I was just talking about this with a coworker as far as tolerance versus intolerance, because I had this. You know what? I was talking with our friend Zach years ago, and he presented this idea to me that I hadn't considered at the time. It must have been a decade ago, maybe 15 years ago. And he said, hey, what we have is a conundrum, because one group is saying the other group should be more accepting and be more inclusive and be more supportive and be more of an ally for whatever reason, for whatever topic, put your standard, your moral, your values in whatever, fill in the blank. And they are more or less intolerant to the fact that the other group is intolerant to whatever it is they're claiming to be necessary or needed or accepted. So, I don't like this barrier that's in front of my house. Okay, well, psych, you should be more introspective. It's not so bad. You should, why are you discriminating against yellow posts? They should be everywhere. We should include them in daily living, all of our lives. And more or less, what you're expressing is you disagree and you're intolerant with the fact that I disagree and I'm intolerant with that. So where one group disagrees with the other group meets their disagreement with intolerance and disagreement. So you're stuck. You're stuck at that point. It's a circle.
Yeah.
Right? Include me, include them. No, I don't want to. And if you don't want to, then you're not included. How do you reconcile that?
Can you parse that down into a simpler question? Because I was half listening.
If you're telling me I should include them, and I go, no, I don't want to, but then you don't include me because I don't include them. Now you're discriminating against a group.
Yeah.
So we're doing the same thing.
It's
the same.
No, it is the paradox of inclusivity. Because we say everyone needs to be involved, but we're still picking and choosing who's involved. Because if you're not inclusive, I'm not including you in my inclusivity. It's
correct.
It's a societal paradox. I love it. All these paradoxes.
Yes, and we know this is happening. We know this is true because after the election, whatever side you're on, people are unfriending and blocking and losing their number, and you're dead to me, and I don't want to talk to you. And it's kind of sad that is happening over something as relatively, in the grander scope of things, relatively trivial, because their lives are going to be affected probably this much.
Did you see there's a case going to the Supreme Court where a white woman is a white heterosexual woman is suing for discrimination, saying that she didn't get a promotion because she's white, conservative, and heterosexual. Mm-hmm. Whereas her argument is that the two people that actually ended up with the positions that she was after were both gay, and that they did not have the skills necessary, nor did they apply for the positions, but they were awarded the positions anyway. Mm-hmm. So this has gone through the courts. It's going all the way to the Supreme Court, and people are saying that this is probably going to rule in her favor. I guess she's able to do something that has heretofore been impossible to do, but prove marginalization of a majority.
Okay, let's go on this thought experiment because I've been thinking about this.
Okay.
All right. So, I'm into cooking, culinary.
That's why I wore my spam shirt, because I know you love food in all forms.
I got that for you so that you could continue your appreciation of spam for you, not for me. Not for me. Separate. Although I do like spam musubi.
Let's talk about your thought experiment, and then we'll discuss how awesome spam is.
So a lot of cooking shows have blind taste tests. Consider that being applied to the interview process. Mm-hmm. You get an application. There's no race or gender on there. It's just their education and experience. And then you are allowed to go through an interview process, but you don't see them. You just hear a voice, and the voice has been processed, so you don't know if it's male or female. And
so you're talking about like electronically.
Correct. When somebody doesn't want to, they want to remain anonymous. They're the whistleblower.
The black shadow. And
yes, just like that. That's how you conduct your interviews.
One of the ways that I differ from the other candidates, like that kind of.
Yes. Yeah. So imagine that. You interview all of your applicants, and then you pick somebody. I wonder if that would change anything.
Do we need to go further? And no, because that wouldn't work either. So problem is, you're going to be able to inject bias into any part of that process, even though you can't see them, you don't know their sex, race, gender, religion, proclivities, any of that stuff. You don't know any of those things. I can still infer several aspects of you, and I can create bias based on just the terminology you use, the language, the way that you structure sentences together.
Perhaps. Okay, let's take it a step further. What if it was double blind?
Double, both eyes.
No, like it. Okay, so you're doing the interviewing, and I read the transcript. I'm not actually hearing them. I don't see them. I'm just reading it.
So same. I mean, same deal. You can. If you're reading the transcript verbatim, you're still getting how I speak in that transcript.
All right. So we've been using AI on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
To distill down descriptions.
Yeah.
Okay. Double blind. AI processes.
Triple blind.
AI processes the description, and you read that.
Like it gives It gives a, what do you call it?
But then not just you read that, the panel, the interview panel, the selection committee reads that, and they take the average.
Interesting. That might work. If everything is paraphrased or restructured by the AI, then you might actually have actual triple blind interview process.
And then we would have a test to find out whether or not AI is racist.
Yeah. Well, we know that AI is racist and biased, and because it's just saying everything based on the information that's given by a human being. Yeah. So now you have the next problem.
Yes. My restroom needs me right now. Yeah. I need to go visit. It's calling me.
So I'll talk about this. So Psych's idea is a good one. The next problem that we have, though, is that we're starting to live in a society where we're heading towards the understanding that personalities matter in the hiring process. You hire somebody who's the best candidate, but they're an absolute jerkhole, and nobody on the team wants to work with them. So that becomes a problem. You have the highest earning, the most productive, smartest, best employee, whoever they are, but they can't be effective if they're expected to work with the team, and they can't do that because they're a total tool. So this is a good way to ensure that there is no bias injected into the interview or the hiring process. But then it's easy for me to manipulate an understanding of that situation in such a way that you will select me, because I mean, if I know that ChatGPT is going to paraphrase what I'm saying, I'll just say stuff in a way that gets me hired. I can come off as the smartest. I can come off as the most knowledgeable. I can even come off as somebody that everybody wants to work with. It doesn't make it true. It's the nuance of conversation that creates that situation. So if I'm doing an interview, I can talk to somebody and I can get a feel for their personality. And since I already know all the other guys on the team, I start to see if those personalities are going to fit, at least in my mind. And you can get pretty good at that. I've seen a lot of I've been reading about interviews and stuff lately, and I've been seeing a lot of stuff where interviewers are trying to make things more casual, more buddy-buddy, more try to get to know you, less about the job, because you put what you can do on your resume. That's great. Now, how do I know you? How do I know who you are as a person? How are you going to get along with everybody else? I got, say I've got 20, 30 people on a team, and you are going to be inserted like in the middle of that team, but everybody has to work together. This is a massive collaborative environment. But if you're just a total putz and you're a butthole to everybody, and you're the kind of person that's telling people, you know what, I'll just do it because you suck at this, and you're rubbing everyone the wrong way, you're not getting along, you're going to make my team worse, no matter how good you are. How do I get that from Psych's triple blind interview process? I don't think you can. So that's the problem that I'm having with this whole thing, is that personalities need to be a part of the interview process, because we have to embrace the fact that we live in a society and that not everybody is compatible with everybody else. Or just finding the inherent flaw in your triple blind interviewing process, which is it's divorced from the actual humanity. Yes. We can find the perfect candidate on paper, but if they show up and they turn out to be a total butt wipe. Mm-hmm. Well, the only way we're going to know if that happens or not is if we try it. Well, the grocery industry, when you got high enough, they used to make you take one of those psych tests that was like 3 hours of questions asking you, strongly disagree, strongly agree, along all of the hundreds of things, and then give you a personality profile. That's how they did it. They should have started with that. There you go. Give us give us your resume, take this 3-hour psych eval.
It wouldn't have to be 3 hours now, but yeah.
And then if we like what we're seeing here, if the numbers line up, then we'll invite you to the triple blind interview process.
Yep.
Bam. Okay. We solved it.
I think we should start a consulting company based on what we've now uncovered.
Yeah.
Go in and figure out how to get people the best employees.
We could definitely, at the very least, write a book.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been reading books lately, and that's all they really are. Just some guy or gal loosely spitting his opinions about this, that, and the other thing.
Mm-hmm. When I was working in the Bay Area, the HR, well, actually, it was our director. It's like, hey, we're not getting people to apply. Well, no, the problem was they were getting people to apply,
mm-hmm.
and they would be granted the opportunity to take a test to achieve this position,
mm-hmm.
but everybody was failing the test.
What kind of test was it?
It was based in education and special education. So your knowledge of individuals with disabilities.
So it was fact-based. It wasn't personality-based.
Correct. And they're like, hey, we want you and your colleague to, if you're willing, to come in and review our test and let us know if the questions that we're selecting, give us your opinion.
When you say you, them, you mean you?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So they had 150 questions that we went through.
Mm-hmm.
The tests that were given, I think they were randomized. They only got like 15 or 20 of them. Maybe it was slightly more, but we reviewed every single one of them. And I laughed my way through that reading because
everyone's failing and you laughed your way through it.
Because it was the questions, the phrasing was poorly written.
Mm-hmm.
Many of the questions were asking things that were not relevant for the position. It was so old and antiquated and just dated and useless. I was like, well, that's why they're all failing. And I came this close to volunteering to just do all of it for them because it was so poorly done. And then I was like,
you don't want to give yourself that headache.
I was like, no, let me gracefully backstep my way out of that because I knew that was going to happen next. And anyway, we curtailed all of what they had cataloged in their questions. So like this one, X, get rid of that. We just gutted it. Then we had people passing the test afterwards.
Yeah.
All of a sudden we had people fill in our classrooms that were qualified, who wanted the job and who were good. But so who knows how many people they just let go because of that process was broken.
Hell, if people just tested out and they were just brilliant people.
Yes, because of this thing that no one cares about.
That's the thing about the government. Some processes get so stuck in the past because somebody has to take the initiative to want to. I mean, you saw what it took for somebody to take the initiative to enact change. I mean, they had to have 0 people, and how many dozens of people did they go through before someone was like, you know what? There's no way. There's no way.
They had people taking the test multiple times and failing each time because they just got a different test. It was another, I don't know, 30 question test out of the 150 questions that they had, which 75 of them were terrible.
I work in a government subcontract field, and we are just now updating a lot of our processes. And some of that stuff was like from the 80s. And you would read it and you'd be like, it's almost like they were putting in their, rules about what rooms you could smoke in. That it was that kind of old. So yes, but
you need to schedule that review, that annual review or semi-annual or however often you think it needs to be looked at.
Way above my pay grade.
Yeah, you just need to schedule chance, an opportunity to take a look, right? Just like when you need to wash your car, right? You should schedule that too.
Yeah, make sure you have enough PTO. Take the time off work. Do it right.
I am okay. So when I wash my car, when I do it, I want to film it.
You haven't done it yet. That's the best part. You got half a pallet of stuff, and you're so afraid to use it because you don't have all the information yet.
I've washed my wife's car twice.
Okay, just to test that out.
And I detailed the interior of her car, and then she got hit. So I'm gonna have to throw that car away because it's garbage now.
Can't you just detail all the dents out of it?
No, you cannot do that. I'm gonna throw this back at you. You cannot. Oh, I would offer you bring your car by and experience it, but it's
okay. I don't care enough. You did not.
I should invite you.
You
it would just be so much work.
You did not effectively engage my interest level in this endeavor, this car detailing.
Yes, you have to have perceived value. You have to have you have to have enough desire and want and or need to go down that road. And if it doesn't appeal to you, then I might not be able to make it appealing enough to ever get you to involve yourself with such
frivolity,
antics, activities,
silliness,
hobbies.
It
is a hobby.
Yeah,
right.
No, that's fine. And that part of it, I think, is great. It's a hobby.
It is a hobby.
And if you just treat it like that, then you're in a good spot.
Okay. Thank you. Cheers. But let's say my new neighbors, who I'm not too fond of, like my hobby, and they're like, "Hey, let me. You know what? That needs a microfiber towel.
Yeah. No. Don't.
Maybe a waterless.
Let's not drink out of these.
Okay. So then we won't. I have some chalices. Yeah. Usually I wash off the tops of my cans.
Yeah.
But if they're covered, I don't really.
Well,
don't really go. Let me try the other one.
Let me see if I can find the other one. Well, where are these chalices at?
Check the freezer.
Okay.
Freezer, top shelf. Cold mugs, iced mugs.
Oh yeah. Now we're woohoo. Yeah, boy.
So if my neighbor's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I go, "I'm just cleaning my car." And he goes, "What do you charge?" And I go, "Something ridiculous."
Does this happen?
No, I'm just. This is another one of those thought experiments.
We
can rearrange. And I go, "Oh, it's going to cost $400." And I'm not already doing something on that day, and it's not impacting my ability to live life. There you go. It's going. Yeah. Why not? If I could make an extra $1,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
If I could make my car payment a month.
That's the dream. Can I turn my hobby into a financially stable endeavor? That's the dream, right?
Mm-hmm. Something that one loves to do.
Yeah.
Are they capable? Are they? Thank you. Or are you able to sustain it to the point where it's beyond you? Now it involves other people. I would have to get more stuff. I've stuff at AutoZone, the products. It's all like mixed and ready to go, and they don't sell anything concentrate over there that you have to mix up on your own. So that stuff I have to order. But
but
I could make it happen.
But then you're thinking along the wrong lines at that point. Don't do something that you love to do, thinking that you may. Don't fantasize about turning it into a.
I love shopping.
Yeah,
so it's going to help.
That's the part.
It's going to help.
But don't fantasize about turning it into a financially positive endeavor.
No.
It's like I mean, I've been in two live bands.
It's red.
Yeah, I like it.
When I first sipped that, I thought it was.
I've been in two live bands. I've been in a number of rap groups. And when I was real young, we used to think, we're going to do this. We're going to freaking We're going to hit the pavement. We're going to get famous. But that fades away really quick. And the only reason why I kept doing it is because I liked doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Not
because if you had the expectation and you continually failed at meeting that expectation, it would get old after a while.
Yes, it would be tiresome. It would be trying. It would be depressing.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I'm a failure.
I'm a failure. I mean, admit you're a failure already and just do it because you love it. Just start there.
So if I'm a failure at washing my own car, like that's one thing.
That's why 8.1 million people every day take their car through the auto wash.
Okay, so I'm talking to my youngest about this yesterday, and I was basically like, "What's a car made out of?" And he told me, "Well, it's rubber and plastic and metal and leather and all the physical materials."
My car doesn't have leather in it.
I can help you with that. So I basically told him everything I'm learning about how to clean in detail a vehicle that has all of those materials and surfaces allows me to better clean everything around me, right? Everything that's in my car is in my house. All of those same materials are present here. If I have the solutions and the chemicals and the supplies to clean in detail my vehicle to perfection, I can do the same thing with everything around me here.
Well, the nice thing is about a car is that if you're detailing a car and you mess up a corner, you can just roll it into the dump. But if you do that in the corner of your house, you're effed in the A. just saying, just be careful.
And then I'll have to learn something new.
Yeah. So you like Spam musubi. And now we need to have this conversation.
Yes.
This is important.
Mm-hmm.
This is friendship changing. Why just Spam? So why just Spam musubi? In what way is the idea of Spam not palatable to you?
It's not palatable to me as a breakfast food.
I had a Spam and egg burrito for breakfast this morning. So good.
So when I was growing up, my father liked to cook Spam. He would fry up Spam in the morning.
Yep.
And I never liked it then.
No, didn't like it.
And I still don't.
Still don't.
And so it wasn't until I was introduced to Spam musubi, was like after learning to like sushi and Asian foods and Asian cuisine. Like this is good. This is unexpected. I'm not supposed to like this. Why do I like this?
I like where this is going because it might suggest that you need to be reintroduced to Spam in a variety of ways.
You're not wrong. And I'm not against that happening. I'm not against going down that road. I was actually going to purchase some to make Spam musubi for my boys and see what they're, what they think of it.
I just bought, Costco just started selling a Korean spice Spam. Mm-hmm. And I don't usually like the flavored Spams. My favorite one is the Spam Light, which is low sodium, low fat. There's 3 lights. There's 3 things that's lower in. And I like that one. I think Spam is a little too high in fat and sodium for continuous consumption. But
it's an indulgence.
Yeah, it is. It totally is. But I wanted to try this. I don't know why. I had a wild hair. And like I said, like there's turkey Spam, there's teriyaki Spam. There's like 20 flavors of Spam. And I've tried most of them and I've not liked them. Just like regular Spam. But this one here, I was like, because I like to do Spam and rice bowls. I also like to do Spam and like yakisoba noodles and that kind of stuff. So I was like, well, I'll get that.
I might like Spam if it were in a loco moco, right?
Yeah, see, I make a great Spam loco moco, by the way, traditional style.
And I think with that in mind, I also agree with you. If I were to buy Spam, I'd want as original product. I would want the product to be as original as possible, and all of those different flavorings and marinations and stuff. I would just do. If I wanted teriyaki Spam, I would do that. If I wanted something Korean, I would do that. If I wanted something a Mexican spam, I would do that.
And that's what I do. I take the core spam and then I flavor it as I toss it or whatever.
Yep.
But this, for some reason, I wanted to try this. And I did, and it's pretty good. The wife likes it. I think it's her favorite one. So yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a Korean spice. It's not too spicy. It's a good flavor to it.
Mm-hmm.
Thing about this, the flavored spams is, for some reason, they're like softer than regular spam, which I know is hard to imagine, but they're all like that. So anyway, but
well, speaking about breakfast, so my birthday was January, and I went down the road of downloading all these apps, 3 folders worth on my phone to get all of the birthday discounts and stuff. And one was Denny's, and a little bit of
go ahead. Fucking Denny's. Poor Denny's. They used to be so awesome. Sorry, Denny's.
This may be an awesome story or not for them. Probably not. It's probably not. So on your birthday with Denny's, you get a free value slam, which is 2 slices of bacon or 2 sausage links, 2 eggs, and either biscuits and gravy, 2 pancakes, or 2 things of French toast.
So it used to be the classic Grand Slam breakfast.
Yes. It's the one that's currently on their menu in California in our area for $6.99.
That's actually not too bad. Go ahead, continue. I'm sorry.
So you get a free one. So I take my app I went with my wife. We go out and I'm using it. We ate at the counter. I told our server, hey, before anything happened, before anything was brought to us, hey, I just want to let you know, I want to use this. I showed it to her. She's like, okay.
Happy birthday.
Yes. She said happy birthday.
Good.
It was amazing. We had our meal, and then I went to go to the front to pay, and I take out there's a QR code there, and I show the woman, and the thing is, the bill that we got, the woman already removed the value slam.
I see.
And my wife ordered the same thing because that was enough for her. So the woman at the front takes it off the bill again.
Oh.
And I ordered, we both got coffee, and I got a side of hash browns. So it took the bill from it took it to almost nothing. I think it was like $11 for all of the food that we had. So I couldn't allow that.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So I brought it to her attention, and she's like, oh, thank you for mentioning it, because she was about to just give stuff away. Yeah. And she was going to be fat. I don't want anything bad to happen to her. So, but she did scan the QR code. So I paid. We left her tip.
They have a UPC lookup that's probably like a 3-digit number that they just punch in.
She failed to do that. So a week or 2 later, and this thing's good for 30 days. I still have this reward on my phone. So I'm like,
oh, so you were expecting it to eliminate it from the app because they were supposed to acknowledge that you received it.
She didn't scan it, and she did whatever she did in her system, didn't take it off.
Because the app is logged into your name.
Yes.
Interesting. So in that case, she would have to scan it.
So, as I drop the mic.
Yeah, with your thick ass 1990 Yosemite. What were you 17? How long have you had that?
No, it's just got Yosemite was founded in 1890.
Oh, so it's not 1990.
No.
That's confusing. I'm just going to say that's confusing.
Surprised you don't know that.
Why would I?
Because you're so intelligent.
I've just never been to Yosemite.
You're so smart.
The closest I've ever been to Yosemite is Captain Kirk climbing Mount El Capitan.
Oh, you just said you've never been to Yosemite? I'm not going to allow this conversation to get sidetracked from that. Okay. Let's finish. Okay. So a couple weeks later, it's still on there. I was like, you know what? Let's see if I get another.
And now you have to go see. Yeah, because that's who you are. Yeah, of course.
So I go, and I go to a different one because I don't want to go to the same one and go, have somebody recognize me. Oh, this guy is trying to pull one over on us.
It's so funny that you think that they would remember you after having 300 tables a day for 3 weeks.
Anyway, I go to one that's closer to. It's on the way to work still, and it's not an inconvenience. Go before work. It's at a truck stop, and. They got the food out fast, had my meal. It's great. Okay. Got the value slam, an orange juice, and then I go to check out. Get the QR code. Hey, happy birthday. Okay. Oh, I can't use our system's never works. It's always down. She couldn't scan it.
That's so good. But she put in the UPC and gave it to you, though, right?
She gave it to me.
Yeah.
So I paid for an orange juice. I left the tip and went on my way. So a couple weeks later,
you still have 9 days left. You're such a horrible person.
So I go around the corner and from work at lunch, and it's like, I'm going to get a value slam. Let's see if this works.
Oh.
And it did. And their system worked and they scanned it and that was fine. So my birthday lasted far longer at Denny's than necessary.
So let me ask you this. Does the quality of the food meet your expectations based on on younger Sykes' remembrances of the quality of the food?
So each one of those locations was different, noticeably so.
The franchises.
Yes. And I think the best one I had was the third stop. Yeah, the bacon there was more of it on the bacon.
So Jones he has ranted about Denny's bacon, and it has gotten thinner. Like they've technology has improved to the point to where they can slice it's so thin.
They freeze it and slice it, and yeah.
But yeah, so it's nice to hear that there's a place that hasn't figured that out, and they're giving you real slices of bacon. Poor Denny's. You know what? And
they're trying.
They are. They're doing the best they can. But in my opinion, the food has gotten so expensive, which is why I was surprised that the Grand Slam, the Value Slam, was $6.99. Because I've been a few times in the last couple years. We went with Twig, and that was awful. And then I went back because I was like, no, it can't be.
Yeah.
And it was even worse. And then the wife and I went to a Denny's. I don't know. I was not feeling well and I needed to eat, so we went to a Denny's. We were traveling somewhere. I can't even remember where it was. We were not in the area. We had flown somewhere, and I needed to eat. So I went to a Denny's, and it was even worse. But each time, the two of us, a meal was like $35, $40, and I'm just like, man, I could have gone to like a Chili's or an Applebee's or some kind of basement level sit down restaurant and gotten a better experience. Probably had a beer and paid the same money. And we're talking about pancakes. Pancakes. I mean, you get a box of Bisquick and you can make like 4,000 pancakes for like $3.
Yeah.
And what is Denny's using to make pancakes?
I'm sure they have their own purveyor that sources them, that stuff. It's not what you're talking pancakes. It's flour and sugar and salt and a little bit of leavener, right? Baking soda, baking powder as your dry ingredients. And then you got eggs and milk, or eggs and buttermilk, a little bit of butter, melted butter. You're good.
A proprietary recipe that uses enriched flour, sugar, and leavening agents, salt, milk, eggs, vegetable oil.
Yep. That's it.
Okay.
It's easy. Yeah, it's easy. I kind of, with Kodiak aside,
I love Kodiak.
Yeah. If my wife brings any other stuff home, I'm just like,
oh, because you like to make pancakes. You've told stories about how you spend an entire day preparing to make pancakes.
I'll whip up the egg whites, make them as fluffy as possible. I'll brown the butter. Oh, you brown butter pancakes with buttermilk. And
then tell the audience how you don't even like pancakes.
I don't like. They're starting to grow on me, but no, I don't really like pancakes. I don't. I make amazing pancakes. These things are.
How can you tell if you don't like them?
I know what's good and what's not, flavor wise. I don't like lamb. I don't like lamb, but I make an excellent herb crusted, just like Gordon Ramsay rack of lamb. Beautiful. You could take pictures of it and send it to any magazine. And don't like the flavor.
Yeah.
I know it's good. it's cooked to perfection. The temperature is spot on. The crust on the outside is herbaceous.
I've gotten really good at center cut filet mignons, like the thick ones,
Yeah.
to where every time we go to a nice restaurant now, my wife gets the filet mignon to compare.
Yes.
And
That's a nice place to be.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, I've gotten good at it. I even, dude, the last time I did it,
Do you base now?
dude, I made a bordelaise. Dude, it took me forever. But I had half a bottle of red wine that the wife had started like 2 days before, and I was like, you know what? Got me some beef stock, and I fucking, I simmered it down with I diced shallots. I put in the thyme and rosemary, and I strained it, and I simmered it down, and it was good.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, at first I was like, you know what? I don't know how I feel about this. Taste a little tasty spoon, whatever. It's okay. But when it finally finished and it settled, and I served it on the side because I was a little concerned about it, and it was, oh my God, like Amethyst and Keisha were drinking the cups.
Yeah, those moments make it.
Yeah,
like the day not that long ago, I made the beurre blanc sauce.
Ooh.
Amazing. And dinner that night here, people were literally licking the plates.
That's so good.
We don't have enough of this.
That's so good. So the Roxy used to make, I mean, their steak, they used to come with a port bordelaise.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, I wish they still did it, honestly. And
you know what? Next time we go, let's ask for it. They have all the ingredients there to make it. And their chefs are able. They're capable. Yeah. It's not on the menu, right?
We're going to order off menu next time at the Roxy. We're that bougie now. So.
Yes. Just ask for it.
Yeah.
Just ask.
Let's do it. And so, but, back in my younger days when I was, I'm not embarrassed by it, but I asked for more, right? Like
more
they brought
what?
me more sauce. They brought me a fucking saucer of it.
All right.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, and they were cool. That was fine. And down the line, I was like, wow. Is the chef mad about giving me because they have a proportions that's set to a certain flavor profile? And I was like, hey, can you give me more of your fancy dipping sauce?
Oh, okay.
But I still did it, and it was just so good.
Yeah,
so good.
Well,
but no, I used Murphy's Clock Spring. The Milliere Clock Spring Zinfandel, and I made it with that.
Okay.
And it was good. It was good.
And I mean, you could use whatever red wine you want on that, right?